Liverpool 1, United 2. Nick, you're looking resplendent as ever. I'm a little bit bedraggled on account of the celebrations, and I apologise in advance for the throat. For what a win, and what a deserved win as well, I would say. It was just what we were looking for. If anyone saw the preview, we gave you a platform. You said in advance that it was a great time to play Liverpool. You hinted at the selection issues that Slot had with so many new signings, key players as well, like Van Dijk, not in the best of form. And well, that's exactly how it played out.
Yeah, luckily it's played out that way, hasn't it? What a win, first and foremost. It's been a long time in coming, in truth, hasn't it? So, yeah, my throat's probably very similar to yours, Steve. And yeah, we certainly celebrated that one in this household. So, overdue win there. So we don't want to get too happy about it, but let's enjoy the moment. It was a well-deserved win. Let's face it, there was some interesting team selection discussion points, but I think Amarim has, well, he has proved us wrong because he's got the 3 points, and that's what counts. And it is the first time since 2016. A very well deserved win, and as you said, we did expect something like that. We knew we'd score given their disjointed back line. We knew they were in bad form, and well, boy, did it play out that way.
I'm going to get straight into it. How good was Matheus Cunha today?
Absolutely. I wanted him to be the first player that we mentioned for sure, and you and I both agreed straight away, Steve. Just incredible. For all the talk of whether he should start, there was always a chance he started. We said that, and boy, did he play! His, let's say, his instruction to perfection. There was touches of Berbatov in there, touches of Cantona. There was some Mark Hughes hold-up play, and if you remember the famous Berbatov turn on the touchline against West Ham at Old Trafford, obviously some years ago, there was something there, wasn't there? About 5 minutes before the end of the 90, to the left side, just by the benches, and he somehow keeps control of the football. There's three players around him. He bounces off each one. He goes on the floor. He's flicking it up with his left foot, maintains control, gets his body in, keeps hold of the ball again. Somehow he's still got it. We're just all looking with kind of that jaw on the ground. That just summed up his game. It summed up our kind of psychology and our kind of collective team performance. And he was superb, especially that last 10 or 15 where I think you said something about that kind of pressure valve, absolutely ensuring that we weren't going to let them back into it. Give Cunha the ball, let him hold it up, whether that was left, right, centrally. On the far side, just after that moment on the left, he then somehow does more or less the same. He gets the ball, there's two players on him. He flicks it up to himself, he turns, he plays it out to someone and receives the ball again. It's absolutely brilliant. Exactly what you need at Anfield, last 5 or 10 minutes, just taking that pressure, soaking it up. It's what we've needed in that final third for, well, over 2 seasons. It's something that we need, even though he's not an out and out nine. He's someone who, like Sesko, who we'll talk about him later, and how he held the ball up so well when he came on. Cunha is that person, drops deep just over the halfway line, takes the ball, relieves the pressure, lets your team come up. And yeah, absolutely outstanding. Maybe one poor moment where he was played through beautifully by Sesko to the left side. He has to find Mbeumo at the far side. Now, you might say there's three players in the way. It's like a very difficult pass to play,
Yeah.
but Cunha can make that pass. Cunha
Yeah.
can make that pass. Instead, he just takes an extra touch to the left, which means he has to shoot, and he's obviously been blocked out of the way there. But aside from that, it was a masterclass by the Brazilian.
We live in an age, don't we, of stats and maybe even stat padding to an extent. People will look at that on paper and go, no goal, no assist. But he set the tone, didn't he? And he walked in there. It was, like you say, a touch of Cantona, just totally unfazed by the occasion. Because we've seen before how the panic can set in and it becomes, you know, the crowd expects it. It's a self-fulfilling thing, isn't it? But it was never allowed to really build. And a huge part of that, I think, was the psychological approach of Cunha, and also back at the other end at Sen Alarmans. I think again, pressure valve. Just helped everyone. It helped the whole team.
I'm speechless on the man. So I'm speechless about the whole scenario and the recruitment and the fantastic recruitment, and then allowing him to sit too long at Carrington, sit on the bench. I am a little annoyed when we see how good he is. Now again, this was proven to us by you speaking to the scout, the head, the scouting team on that, the videos we've seen on the man's. Once you've bought him, you've got to play him. And today, wow, I mean, he's come of age 2 games in, and we're not getting too excited and exaggerating his talent. I understand that it can come across that way, but what he does offer is that assuredness on the ball. So he just seems to have, almost the full package. Let's not get too carried away, but he has the handling capability. He kicks with both feet. He comes out at the right time. The way he shapes his body. He collects at corners. There was the one today, which a little bit iffy. He's gone a little bit too far forward with his body, but still managed to grab it. Nearly gave me a heart attack with that one, but it did show his assuredness in the handling. He's always talking to the back line way, way, way more than Onana ever did, and certainly Bayern, and he's got control of that six. And again, my little boy just turned to me, who said to me, "Is he the second Schmeichel, Daddy?" I'm like, you know what? He's got a point. He might only be 9 years, but he's got a point. He just looked incredibly assured, and let's hope that continues. And I do think, yeah, there might be something in the future where he doesn't have the best game. I understand it. He's a young keeper, but yeah, you're absolutely right to point him out. I think he's been superb today, and certainly the last game against Sunderland as well.
Because the key there, you talk all the things that you talk about, they alleviate pressure on those around him, don't they? And you talk about platforming, that essentially gives them a better, more stable platform on which to perform and just focus on their own duties, doesn't it? It gives you back five, back three, back four, whichever approach you take. It gives them more confidence where they can just focus and just go, right, today I need to do this rather than, oh, I might have to also do that.
Yeah, definitely. And when you have someone like that, you're behind that back three and five, the confidence you have is taken to the next level. And they might not say that as such. And when they're interviewed after the game, when it's been on Bayern recently, Onana, and last season, but it absolutely does make an impact. This is just totally known in the footballing world. So Le Mans must have given them so much confidence in his first 2 performances there, and that really sets us in good stall. It goes back to what we've said since pre-season: is that player selection is so important. It really is important, and once you've got those 2 or 3 down the spine of your team, and you're really happy with those players, then that can work. That can pay dividends. That can really take us to the next level. Now, of course, I'm sure we'll discuss in a much deeper dive about the wider kind of um, ambition of the side at the moment, and some of the structural issues that the formation has under Amorim, and some of his selection principles and selections. But right now, talking about Liverpool, when you get those positions right, your Lamans, De Ligt and Maguire will come on to. Casemiro had to start the game despite this nonsense you read about 180 minutes in Brazil. And Cunha providing that outlet alongside Mbumo. The rest you can then put down to pattern play, how you're playing out of possession shape, the tactics of the game in a sense. But once you get that spine, that takes care of 50, 60%.
There you go. And we spoke again in the preview about the need to, or the instances in the previous years, going back to Sir Alex, where we made it a key point to try and kill the crowd and whatnot, even when we didn't really need to, when we could just, if we wanted to, have fallen back on our superior ability. But today, it was the right approach, wasn't it? We did just neutralize everything.
Yeah, it's the right approach. We said that we'd like to see that rather than this sitting in a very deep block, trying to silence the crowd, trying to keep the ball in the back line. What we saw is on the front foot, like we saw against Arsenal at Old Trafford. We saw a willingness to play the pass as you see it, as we say. As soon as Bruno got the ball, he was looking to the right, out it went to Ahmad. soon as De Ligt got the ball, he was looking inside for Casemiro Bruno. Out it went Ahmad. Over to Dallo, and then into Mbeumo and Cunha. It was just the simple things. If you look to play football at Anfield or any big game, you will reap the rewards. If you look to just change up, you keep on going backwards with the pass, not trying to break the lines, you will inevitably bring that pressure upon you, and that's where those deeper blocks and counter-attacking approaches have caused us big headaches before, and really pleasing to see. I mean, I can already remember a Casemiro raking ball out to Mbeumo, the goal we see Bruno nicking straight out to Ahmad. There's no like long ball into the corner. It's into his feet. Ahmad's in the right position, just on the halfway, just over the halfway line, which we knew would be crucial to today. And he had to start. And then off they go. And Bumo's movement is perfectly timed. Ahmad's pass into him is perfectly played. So yeah, I totally agree with you. It was one of them where we had to be bold and brave on the ball because this team has talent, as we've said for a while. The structure might be letting it down at times. The system comes into that. Amarim's selection principles come into that. But when the players, with the players we know can play, are playing out there and they're doing what we know they can do, one, two touch passing, moving the ball forwards, we will be a match for teams. And that's been the frustration from a lot of us, because we know we've got that pool of talent. It's just about putting it all together, putting that jigsaw together. And we certainly did that for the most part today.
You've spoken at length before about this sort of the growing understanding between Mbumo and Ahmad on the right hand side, and just over a minute in today, there it is, the best example yet.
Yeah, superb play. As we alluded to in the preview, what we want is Ahmad receiving a slightly, let's say, earlier, not in terms of very high in the final third, just over the halfway line. And then Mbeumo needs to give effectively two options. One, like today, where he's come central, stayed central, as we know he does, and then he makes his movement in behind the centre back, which is one benefit of what this tweak to becoming a bit more direct in recent games has given us. But at times in the Sunderland game, we've seen Mbeumo then hug the touchline and allowing Ahmad to come interior and making that kind of sharp run inside. So it is coming together. Um, I was definitely worried at the start of the season, not going to lie, and I do still think Ahmad plays his best football in the final third.
Yeah.
At times he is a bit of a worry. Although not today. I didn't know why he was coming off. I know he was on a caution. I thought he defended really well today, Ahmad, if I'm going to be honest. But those were the worries going into the season and with the system. Whereas, as we said, a 4-2-3-1 would allow Mbeumo and Ahmad to be profiled and platformed in the right way. So yeah, it's coming together on that side of the pitch for sure. And that goal was just, yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, I loved the 2-3 pass moves finished with a goal. There's nothing better in football, is there? There's nothing better. It was a beautiful feeling and a really well worked goal. Yeah, he took it with his weaker foot. He knew where the keeper was. It's just gone over his knee. It's a superb finish. And Virgil van Dijk, I don't know what you're playing at there. Three times to get rid of the ball, or certainly have chance to get in the right position to clear the ball. And yeah, he failed on each occasion.
We'll definitely come to a bit more detail on Liverpool in the deeper tactical dive. But having touched on the first goal, let's talk about the winner. Not directly from a set piece, but it is nice to see us just prior to the goal switching it up a little bit, short corner, rather than just slinging it into the first man as we've done as apparently club policy for the last 50 or so years. Just a little bit different, gets cleared, and then I mean it's a world class assist, isn't it?
Oh,
From Bruno
it's
Fernandes.
beautiful. And I'm moments before shouting at the TV to pull Bruno off because he was letting runners off the back of him in the last
Yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes of the game. There's no doubt about it. And they hit the post from one chance off that. But I guess you do. You keep him on for those moments. And that certainly was a moment. If you take it back 10 seconds prior to the corner, you've got the fact that Szoboszlai has now had to go on to right back, which is, to be fair, what I thought might have happened from the start of the game, and Bradley wouldn't start. But anyway, Szoboszlai goes back to right back. He's then got this throwing where we've pushed them high again, which is what I'm sure we'll talk about our direct approach and keeping the ball high in the field. And he's got the ball. He doesn't know what to do. It has to go down the line. He's gone all the way back to the goalkeeper. In
Yeah.
fact, Mbumo nearly sneaks in. Mbumo nearly sneaks in. I was like, "Go on, you've got that, Brian." And then there's a big hash of a clearance. He just beats Mbumo to it, and it comes straight back, and that's where the corner comes from. So that was really interesting. And like you say, not direct from a corner, but the second ball comes back out. Their back line is all disjointed as it's been all season. They've failed to, some are pushing right out to the edge of the penalty area. To be fair to Van Dijk and Konate, they're holding the position as you should, but they've forgotten the two or three players behind them. Certainly Konate had.
Mm.
And it's a wonderful inside of the foot volley by Bruno. It's measured to perfection. I don't know how he gets that direction on it. If you try that 99 times, yeah, 98 don't come off. So it's a great ball in. And what I love about that is Maguire's like, that is mine. He's not going to let Dorgo in, who would be shouting in his ear, screaming with a bit of a run on it, if I'm being honest. But that would have probably been offside, by the way. Maguire, that's my ball, bang. I remember last season, he's probably thinking to himself when Xerxes plays that ball across to him. And yeah, what a finish, what a header, just calmly places it across the goalkeeper and certainly makes amends for last season's volleyed attempt in a similar minute in the game.
I mean, what a sort of redemptive arc that is. I mean, that's just him, isn't it? The way he's fought back from, a really trying couple of seasons that he had personally on and off the field. He's just stood up now. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. Not every fan would want to see him start in this game today. And he definitely raised eyebrows. But the character of Harry Maguire to perform like he did and then steal the show and win the game, that's like Ahmad at City last season. That's just an instant classic moment that we'll always think back to now.
Yeah, I did it with the Leon game, of course, as well, and he's
No.
done it at an even more important juncture and important away ground. It was, yeah, superb. Not much to add to that. I thought it was a fantastic finish, and you're absolutely right. His character has shone through in the last 2 to 3 seasons, coming through what was horrendous abuse. I've been at games home and away where Harry was getting some really unfair abuse at times. It wasn't his fault. He was given the captaincy by, I think, Ollie.
Yeah.
And he didn't so much go into the shadows at that point, but he wasn't the same player we knew he was from the Leicester days. And there were some kind of, I don't know, like there was some, it wasn't so much fitness, maybe just these positional aspects, biomechanical aspects, and just not get it into the United zone, if you like. So there were a few patchy performances, but it certainly didn't deserve the criticism that he got. And to come through that and be so important to us. I mean, let's just rewind a little bit. He was first choice ahead of Delit last season in the bigger games.
Mm.
And he's kind of allowed Delit to come through and kind of been a bit of a mentor, to be honest with you. And we said straight away the preseason that Harry was coming back from an injury and he wasn't quite himself. And we were pretty sure that De Ligt would start the season. And De Ligt has rightly kept his place despite some patchy form. And Maguire was asked to come in today due to that set piece. Amrim said it in fairness, he said it. Kudos to the Portuguese manager. He said in the pre-match, we've gone for Harry. We know set pieces are important. We know his height will be important. And he did win every header in defence, and then he's obviously won us the game. So, yeah, these moments are sometimes written, and really happy for Harry. Really happy with his post-match interview as well. He didn't get too overly excited. He said, "No, this is not where United should be. We need to beat Brighton. We need to move forwards," and that was really pleasing to see as well.